Hello and welcome to the first episode of the new YouTube channel where we sit down and talk and debate outrageous and outlandish sports topics, hence the name, SporTopics. I got a great panel of people here with me, and as you can tell from the video description or the video title, what we're going to be debating here today is the best sports moments of 2017. And I know it's already late February, might be a little too late to talk about 2017, it's already 2018, but the Oscars, we figured, haven't given out the award for Best Picture of 2017, so I figured we could talk about the best moment in sports that happened last year in 2017. So let's get right into it and meet our debaters today. Right now to my left, we have Hector Servin. Hector is a fan, obviously, of the Lakers, the Indianapolis Colts, and Los Doyers. Hector, how you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Ready to crush these guys.
I like it. I like it. And right next to him is AJ Gomez. AJ, as you can see, LA Kings fan, Green Bay Packers fan, repping his teams. AJ, you ready?
Absolutely, man. I've been ready. These guys don't know what they're doing here.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. And last but not least, we have Steven Pena. Steven, fan of the Vikings, Indiana Pacers, and as you can see from the hat, LA Angels. Steven, how are you?
Let's just get this over with.
All right. Well, you heard the bet. Let's get this over with. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the rules a little bit. These guys already know what's going on, but for those of you that don't know, so they already know the topic. They've been practicing all week. They know what each other have chosen, what their moments are, and they're ready with their pen and paper to debate each other. And so we're just going to start going down the line. Hector's going to go first. We'll end with Steven. Each one of them is going to give what their moment is and maybe share like a sentence or two of why they think theirs is the best. And then after that, the floor will be open for them to discuss which moment will be the best. And then at the end of the debate, I will announce the winner of who I think gave the best arguments. I'll be determining the winner on creativity, passion, and just overall argument of how well you attacked your opponents and how well you defended your opponent, or yourself, I should say, as well. So, you guys have any questions? You guys are good to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Hector, hit me. What you got?
All right, so my moment is Josh Rosen and UCLA's comeback over Texas A&M this last year. Down 34 points. I think that's really impressive. I believe it's the second largest comeback in NCAA history. You don't see that every day. And not only that, they came back in the fourth quarter. You know, they scored, 28 points in the fourth quarter, all by Josh Rosen, 4 touchdowns, 491 yards. It's incredible. So I think, honestly, this is kind of a hot take, I guess. I would say it's more impressive than Tom Brady's comeback in the Super Bowl.
Which I was surprised. Nobody picked that either. So.
Yeah.
Okay, AJ, what's your moment?
My best 2017 sports moment is the Astros winning their first national championship over the Dodgers. Hector is a Dodgers fan. The Dodgers suck, and I just want to throw that out there. Hate me if you want, but that's the truth. The Astros moment is the best moment of 2017, and I'll get into that later. I don't want to give you my whole argument like Hector just did.
All right, Steven?
My moment is the 2017 Rose Bowl where number 9 USC beat number 5 Penn State in a last-second field goal.
All right. So, you guys heard all the moments. Now, you guys can go ahead, open the floor. It's all you. Whoever wants to go first?
Hector, man, do you have anything left of your argument?
I got plenty left.
You gave it all
I got
pretty
plenty left.
quick, man.
I got plenty left.
Do you have
man.
anything that matters, though? Unlike because the game didn't matter.
It did matter. It did
What was their
matter.
record at the
It
end?
solidified Josh Rosen's greatness. That's what it did.
His
Solidified-
7-6 greatness?
Josh
Or 6 and
Rosen's
7
greatness.
greatness, sorry.
The only thing that did for solidify was that Josh Rosen carried the team.
Exactly.
Nothing else mattered about the game. Nothing
that's
else
what I'm saying,
mattered
it's
about
impressive.
UCLA. It's impressive, but is it the best sports
It's the best
moment?
sports. Okay, put it this way. I still remember this day. I was going into work. Right?
Shit.
I had my phone with me.
Hey,
I checked the score, and the score was, I believe it was like 40.
So you didn't watch the game.
At the time, they were down
Yeah.
34 points. I was catching it here and there. I left the game when they was about 44 to, I believe, 10 or something like that. Anyways, I left and I was
So
like,
you
man,
gave
this
up
game's
on
over.
them.
I guess this game's over. I'm going into work, whatever. And then I went into work. I changed whatever. When I came out, I checked the score, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Josh Rosen making a comeback? And then after that, I put my phone away again, and I checked it again, and they had won, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. You don't see that. You don't see that every day, especially not in the
You
NCAA.
didn't see it.
Especially not against, especially not against Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. I'm sorry.
That's a great defense.
That's
right
a
there.
great
Do they not have
defense.
one of the best pass rushing defenses?
They-
last
One
year?
of the best pass rushing. Are you
One
kidding?
of
Myles
the top-
Garrett wasn't even on the
One
team
of the
anymore.
but they still had one of the top pass rushing defense. They were in Josh Rosen's face
They
all
had,
day.
they had the best pass rushing defense. You so claim
They-
went 7-6 that year. That doesn't sound too impressive to me. I don't see what
they had a backup quarterback.
a backup
Most of the
quarterback.
season. Yeah, of course.
The backup.
You gotta score points.
The
You
backup
gotta score
quarterback.
points.
So you're gonna say the score points?
You
They
gotta
put
score
up
points.
40-something points
Against UCLA's defense.
Against
Is
UCLA.
that
That's my
impressive?
point.
Okay, I think
But
we're
that's-
talking a little too
all right,
much about
you're right,
Texas
you're right,
A&M's
you're right,
defense
you're
when
right.
we should be
But that's
talking
what I'm
about
saying. That's what makes it
the game.
impressive is the fact that he still made that comeback. They were down. They didn't start making the comeback until the fourth quarter.
But but then they lost their bowl game at the end of the year. The game that mattered.
Are we
Look,
talking?
look,
The
we're not-
moment
okay.
is not UCLA's
That's
season.
true, that's true.
The moment is this game and Josh Rosen coming back against Texas A&M.
But the
in
moment-
the second largest comeback in NCAA
Don't you
history.
think the game has to mean something for the moment to mean something?
I mean, that's part of it, but again, this is the idea is not, the greatest game or the greatest, the most valuable game of 2017. It's the greatest sports moment, and to come back down 34 points, 28 points in the fourth quarter, you're getting the offensive line was absolutely terrible that game. The defensive line was in his face all day. He got sacked so many times. He fumbled, I believe, twice. No, he fumbled once, and they took it back. He was getting hit all game, and then to still come back, that's crazy. That's incredible. And that final drive,
And they took
That
that,
final
momentum
drive.
to the rest of the season.
the final drive.
And
What
this
about the other
that
ones?
big moment built the foundation for a 6-7 season.
Yeah,
That's look, it's
but then again, Josh Rosen wasn't healthy the rest of the season.
so what are we even talking about? We're talking about
Josh.
Josh.
Again, what's the moment? What's the moment?
The
we're
moment,
talking
okay, great moment. Josh Rosen had a really good game at one time,
And it
at UCLA.
solidified-
That's great, awesome.
and it solidified his place in the NCAA, and as he's going into the NFL, he's one of the top prospects. I think he should be the first quarterback taken off. I think anybody who passes over him, as whoever passes over him and takes him if he goes second, if he doesn't go first, I think that's a bad decision.
What about
on any
the other
team.
college game we have on the table here? The Rose Bowl, USC versus Penn State. Pretty great game, 52-49, I believe.
And
Any knocks on
USC
that
also
one?
made a fourth quarter comeback, and it was the biggest comeback in Rose Bowl history. 17 points in the fourth quarter, unanswered. Interception with 30 seconds left, and then to kick a field goal as time expires.
Who
I
likes
mean,
a game
it's-
that ends in a field goal?
Who likes a game
Who
that
likes a game that ends
What are
in a
you
field
talking
goal?
about? Who cares if it ended in a field goal? It ended
I don't
on
care what
a
game it-
last second play. Okay, look,
I'm
it's
not impressed.
I'm not gonna say it's the best sports moment in 2017. Of course not. I have my thing that we still haven't talked about yet. But it's better than
Well,
Hector's.
yours obviously is the worst.
So wait,
You think my sports moment is the
How many
worst?
touchdowns
Okay.
did Rosen have?
4 touchdowns.
Oh, because Darnold had 5.
Okay.
Who did Darnold have? Let's talk about Darnold's receivers.
Juju
Let's talk about
Smith.
his receivers,
It's
See,
his
that's
running
the whole
backs.
team thing.
It's a team game.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes, okay,
Rosen carried
here's
the
the
team
thing
on
about
his
it.
back.
Yes. Rosen did. He carried the team on his back. It was an impressive game. It was an impressive win. Is it the best sports moment of the entire year? The entire 2017 calendar, was that the best moment? When people think about 2017, are they going to look back and be like, oh shit, remember when Josh Rosen came back from 28 points down?
No
in the
one's
fourth
gonna
quarter?
want to
No one's
remember
gonna care.
the Astros winning
The World
2017.
Series?
No one's
the
gonna remember.
World Series?
We're
You don't
in-
think
we're in
anybody's going to
Southern
remember
California.
Astros winning the World
We're
Series?
not gonna. We don't want to remember that. No one wants to
Nobody
remember
here
that.
wants to remember that
No
because
one
the
wants to
Dodgers
remember
choked
that.
for like the 4th year in a row.
No one wants to remember
Oh, okay.
that.
Did UCLA get something after the game saying that they won that game? Like a trophy or anything?
They got the win. They got a W.
They got it done.
There's only like my man Shannon Sharp says, in his restaurant there's only two items.
Oh, God.
L's and W's, right? So they got a nice W on that.
And they had
That's all
more
you need.
L's on the rest of the game.
We're not talking about the rest of the
We're not
season.
talking
We're
about the
talking about that
We're-
moment.
that moment.
They got a nice W
okay,
there.
That
They got a
moment.
hot-
You got to say
they
that.
avoided the hot L all because of Josh Rosen. One of the greatest comebacks in the second greatest comeback in NCAA history.
at their home stadium.
But it's still the second greatest comeback in NCAA history.
Second.
34 points.
So not the greatest.
It's
Like
in
USC
NCAA
is
history.
the greatest.
How long has the
history.
NCAA been around?
How long has the Rose Bowl been around?
NCAA is great. The second greatest comeback in NCAA history.
What about the World Series? What do you guys got on that
the
one?
World Series, I mean,
Juice baseballs.
what the hell? Juice
Juice
baseball?
baseball.
You're going to blame juice? You're going to say that the integrity of the sport is at stake because it was a fun game to watch, because it wasn't a pitcher's
The
duel.
final game was
I'm
not
not-
a fun game to
I'm
watch.
talking about Game 5. My moment is Game 5.
Oh,
Sorry,
Game
I don't know
5.
if I made that clear.
No,
My
you
moment
didn't.
is
Oh, yeah,
Game
Game
5.
5.
12 to 13 score. I mean, that's double-digit runs. You don't see that in many baseball games, and you definitely don't see that in the World Series too often. I mean, come on, that's a big deal. The Astros take that game going into LA. You know, if they lose that game, they're down 3-2 with 2 games left in LA. There's no way they're going to win after that. So the Astros, in extra innings, winning that Game 5 game, obviously sealed the World Series for them. So, I mean, in the World Series, if we're talking about how much a game matters, the World Series is the championship. It's the best game, or it's for the best team of that sport that year. That's what the whole moment amounted to, was the Astros saying, we're the best in our sport this year. None of your 2 moments meant that much.
But you're
that game
picking,
was-
you're picking Game 5 though. You're
You're
picking a
right. I'm
single
picking Game 5. I'm
so you
picking
can't
a
say the
single
whole
game.
World Series.
You're right, but
So
the
you're
game,
saying Game 5 was better
So,
than them lifting the trophy
yes, and here's why: because
because it was a
they
momentum.
don't
thing?
win. Yes, a momentum thing. They don't win the rest of the games without Game 5. Game 5 in a series tied 2-2 in any sport, if you look, that has a best of 7 format. Any Game 5 with series tied 2-2 is the biggest game of the series. You give the 3-2 lead with 2 games left. It gives the team that won Game 5 the advantage going in. That's what that game was. That's how that game gave the Astros the World Series. They win Game 5. It's the pivot game. You know, I can't talk about enough
maybe in most
how
sports,
important
but
Game
not,
5 is.
Not necessarily baseball. I don't think it's
Okay.
You
You
just
want-
look at the year before with the Indians.
Fair point.
I would say with other sports like baseball, a lot of the times the better team doesn't always win. Even though I do think the Astros were the better team that year. But I'm just going off statistically, the better team doesn't always win.
Game 5s in the World Series or conference championship games, or league championship games,
So
excuse
like-
me.
like
Hold
other
on, yeah,
sports
yeah,
too?
and no, in baseball,
Okay.
because you're saying it's
Yeah,
different
yeah,
in
yeah,
baseball.
yeah.
In baseball, the winner of Game 5 and a 2-2 series has won 64% of the time, the whole thing. That's a big swing. That's a good
yeah.
statistic. Road teams,
12%.
okay, that win. So if the Dodgers had won that game, have won 9 out of 10. They're going back to LA to play 2 games. If they had that lead 9 out of 10 times, the Dodgers
win it,
win. That's
yeah.
what the numbers say. That's what the Astros are up against, having to win that Game 5. This is what the numbers are. The Astros win that game, and the numbers are flipped. The numbers don't matter anymore because now we've played the Game 5, because Game 5 is the important game in the 2-2 series.
Yeah.
And that's just how that works. So the Game 5 is, I mean, it's maybe not more important than winning the World Series, but the moment that winning Game 5 is bigger than, say, the Game 7 win, just because
Yeah.
of what it meant for the overall chance of the Astros even winning at all. Please look at Hector taking notes, because he needs to make a major comeback in this debate right now.
The only thing I don't like about the Game 5 is that it was both their aces were throwing,
Yep,
and by the third inning, both of them had given up like 4 or 5 runs.
absolutely.
And that's why I say, I'm not the only one that says it, but juice baseballs. How do you have
You're just-
Clayton
okay.
Kershaw and Dallas Keuchel just give up that many runs in the third, like by the third, 4th inning?
It happens. It happens sometimes. You're not gonna go out and
Would you
throw
would you
a
say it
one-run
it
game every
happens,
single
like,
time.
40% of the time?
I'm not gonna say it happened 40% of the time, but you can't say juiced baseballs just because the 2 ace pitchers,
No, that's not the only reason.
Okay.
Through that whole postseason, Kershaw gave up the most home runs in postseason history.
Okay, you're gonna say Kershaw.
8
Kershaw
home
is
runs.
notorious at playing bad in the postseason.
Yeah, but He's still 8 home runs in one series.
Hector, what do you think? You're a Dodgers fan. I know that must have been a pretty crushing game for you after 5 years. It seemed like 5-hour-long game, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on
That was a tough game to watch. It was a long game to watch, very long game to watch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was. I mean, I think baseball. There's nothing wrong with a lot of scoring. But I think that was a little too much. Sometimes you get a little too much, and at some point it was kind of like. It's too much, man. There's like a home
too
run.
much?
How many home
So,
runs in one inning? How many?
I'm
home
sorry.
runs?
I'd rather sit and watch the pitcher, talk to the catcher at the mound
No,
for
no,
a whole
but there
minute.
was-
I want to see
It was
the
like
in
you
between
said, the
pitch
whole
grow
juice-
to like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? I want the pitchers to really take their time and you know what I want runs, man. As a
Yeah, I
fan,
want runs too,
I love a no hitter. It's cool. It's great. I like low scoring games. It builds the tension. But high scoring games they're just more fun to watch.
I don't even think it was I don't think it was the best game of the series, of the entire series.
What would be the best game
think-
of the whole series?
I think Game
The one
6 was the
Dodgers
best game.
won. The one the Dodgers won.
Yeah, I sound biased, but honestly, was that not a great game?
I mean,
It wasn't
I'm not
too
gonna
much
say
scoring.
it wasn't a good.
It was decent
I don't-
pitching. You had some good pitching on both sides. It wasn't too much like I said. That game was like home run after home run. And it almost got old.
And
it
it's
dragged along way too long.
Like you said, Kershaw's notoriously bad. So like when he did bad, it's like not anything we didn't expect.
I'm not
So
saying it's nothing you didn't expect, but so Kershaw plays bad, but so does Keuchel plays bad too.
Yeah, but
Keuchel,
he's not known. He doesn't have that like playoffs. He's gonna.
Okay, all right, that's a fair argument. So Keuchel isn't known for being bad, so he just has a bad day. You know,
And
you
he
can't
always-
just not have a bad day. You know, if you go out and you do something so many times, so often, at one point you're gonna be not that good at it one day, just because that's just how things work. You don't do your best every single time. So he had a bad game. So what? I don't see how that means that the baseballs are juice. I feel like this baseball juicing thing. That has to be one of the most, talk about a conspiracy theory. I mean,
It hasn't been proven or disproven.
So okay, we'll come back to that
So
when
it
it's
could
been
be
proven, or there's more evidence to that. You're just saying that because you like seeing pitching and defense.
No,
and stuff,
I
and
like
that's-
runs. It's just.
Oh, then
it's-
I'm
I'm not saying it was too much runs. I'm just saying it's like you have two ace pitchers. You expect a pitcher's duel.
You do expect a pitcher's duel, so then there's your unexpected factor that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is you expect a pitcher's duel, you didn't get the pitcher's duel, and too much scoring. When is there ever too much? Okay, all right, I'll take it back.
You like the Pro Bowl
There's
now?
one.
Which is
Yes,
that your
I was
favorite
just
game,
about
the
to
Pro
bring that
Bowl?
up. I was just
Do you
about to
like
bring
the
that
All-Star
up.
game
The
now?
only two exceptions when there's too much scoring is maybe not the Pro Bowl because football scoring doesn't happen as much, but definitely the NBA All-Star game. Absolutely ridiculous. As far as scoring goes,
I just want to make something clear. I never said too much scoring was bad.
Yeah. There's no such thing.
I think it was too much.
In a game, especially since it's a game that matters.
And honestly, I would even say
there's
Game
no such
3
thing
was a better game as well.
No, I'm not saying it's a better game. I'm
I don't
saying
think it was
it's
the best
the
moment.
best moment.
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, Game 3, that's too early in the series. Game 3 doesn't mean too much. Game 6 means more. I'll give you that one. But it's still.
So then you just said Game 6 meant.
No, I'm not
more.
saying it's okay. You're right. I said that, but that's just
You just disproved your own
that's
argument.
sentence structure. Whatever.
You just disproved your own argument.
The game. Okay. So okay. So my moment, maybe my moment's not as good as or the game isn't as good as Game 6. That doesn't mean the moment's not better because the Astros eventually won. And even if you diminish my moment a little bit, your moment still sucks.
How is my moment bad?
Because your moment
It's the
doesn't
second
amount to
greatest
anything.
comeback
You
in
keep
NCAA
saying
history.
that.
Second
You
greatest.
keep
That's,
saying that.
It's the second greatest in NCAA
They were
history.
first in nothing that year.
It doesn't matter. It's the moment. It's the second greatest
How about we
moment
go
in NCAA history.
into our closing argument? So we'll go down.
Well,
the line
hold
again.
on,
Do
because
you have
I don't
one
think
more
we've
thing to
talked
say?
about USC enough.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
we
let's do
brought
that.
it up and then we went back to UCLA and then we went
Because
to the Astros.
look, it's such a memorable moment. Already.
We went back to it
It's
because
in your mind. It's stuck in your mind.
Oh my gosh! All right,
You're thinking
the
about
Rose Bowl.
that
if
final drive.
If I have to say, it's the Rose Bowl game definitely meant more and was a bigger moment than Josh Rosen coming back. That being said, the Rose Bowl game with USC, that it didn't amount to much for me Because to me, all it told me was that USC came in and said, hey, we're still relevant. You know, it's not like they're going out there saying, oh, we should have been in the playoffs. No, they're saying, oh, you know what, we still want kids to come to our school. We still want to be relevant. You know, don't give up on us, basically, because we haven't had the same kind of success that you're used to. You know what I mean? USC is such a big program that you'd expect national championships and stuff. The Rose Bowl win is just USC saying, hey, we're still here. Like, don't forget about us. And that's all that game amounts to me, to be honest.
I feel like the Rose Bowl meant more than that because they beat a number 5 team that just missed the playoffs, right?
Just missed the playoffs.
And the only reason they were a number 9 team, they started off 1-3. And that win just showed that, like, somewhat the playoff system's kind of flawed. Because you start off a season bad, but then you end great, and then you beat a team that was one spot out of the playoffs.
Just because you beat any team can beat anybody. How many of the playoff teams were undefeated? I think just one of them. You know what I mean? So like you can lose to good teams, but just because you have, 3 losses is a lot. Let's put that out there. I'm not gonna agree with you that they're saying, oh, we should have been in the playoffs. The playoff system is flawed. You had 3 losses. That's your own fault. Okay, so winning that game doesn't tell me that. Winning that game tells me that, hey, we're still relevant. We're still in this. Don't forget about us for next year. You know what I mean? Like this, it doesn't mean much to me at the moment because it's all it is oh, you know what? This is something we can use to go into next year. Because with the playoff system the way it is now, your big bowl games, they don't mean as much anymore. I hate to say it because I loved how big the bowls were before. Yeah. And the Rose Bowl, it used to be granddaddy of it all. It was the thing, but now it's not. In a year, the Rose Bowl isn't part of the playoff. The Rose Bowl doesn't mean anything anymore. It's overshadowed by the playoff. And at the time, we had already had the rematch set up for Clemson and Alabama, and frankly, it just overshadowed the Rose Bowl win, no matter who was in it. So it just kind of diminishes the moment for me.
All right, I think I've come to my decision here. Well, before I do that though, I'll give you guys a
closing statement.
Closing argument of why you think your moment is still better than the others and why theirs isn't as good as yours. So, Hector.
All right, so I still stand by that this comeback by UCLA, by Josh Rosen, because Josh Rosen put the team on his back. Let's be clear. Josh Rosen put the team on his back. And it solidified it made a statement because there was kind of a lot of doubts going about Josh Rosen, about his injuries, about his attitude, about his off-field stuff, the way he's very outspoken and things like that. But this kind of let people know, hey, this guy's the real deal. And he's going to be a great NFL quarterback one day. And he's a tough dude, even though he's not, Sam Darnold Sam Darnold's kind of a big dude, kind of like got that build, that toughness. Josh Rosen's a little lankier, a little smaller, but with that little, he didn't have the greatest talent around him. He had a terrible offensive line, and he still got it done. He did something that not a lot of quarterbacks can do. Down 34 points, came back 28 points in the fourth quarter. And that final play, that gutsy play, the fake spike, and threw that beautiful dime to the left corner. It had everybody on the feet. You were excited when you saw that play. That was dope. You loved that play. And like I said, it just solidified his place. And I think that now that he's coming onto the draft, it definitely bumped him up. And I think any team that passes over him will definitely regret it.
All right, AJ.
The Astros winning or the Game 5, it propelled them to the championship. I said it and I'm going to say it again. The Game 5 means the most in a 2-2 series. It's the moment where championships are won, and Houston won that one. And Houston, we're talking about a team that just a couple years ago had 111 losses. 3 straight years with 100 losses, like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. And to build all the way up and have a team, in the playoffs or in the World Series against the highest payroll in the MLB and win in such a high-scoring game like that, it just really builds on how much it meant to the Astros, to their championship, and to their overall turnaround as a club and baseball in general with how high scoring it was and how fun of a game it was, trying to make baseball fun again. And I think that 13-12 game, in extra innings, I think that game does it, and it wins it for the Astros, and that's really all I got to say about it.
All right, Steven?
I would say for mine's the only one where at the end of the game someone lifted a trophy, even though the Astros didn't end up winning. It wasn't after that game. My team, or my moment, the team actually rose a trophy. And back to what he said about like Rose Bowl not mattering. Well, to USC it had to matter because all those years of the bowl bans, like that has to mean something. They come back after all those years and get a bowl win, and I just think since mine has a trophy at the end of it, of the actual game in the moment, that's why mine's the best.
Okay. I wish I had a little bell I could ring, like ding ding or something like that. I need to give me one of those. All right, so those are good closing arguments. Those kind of added a little more weight to what y'all have said. However, I think it comes down to two, really. I think you had a couple good jabs with your Hector, with your comment about how USC had Juju Smith and a couple other key players that are pretty big stars in the NFL right now, and Josh Rosen has nobody. I don't know any of the receivers that he has, so he carried the team on his back for sure, single-handedly. I thought that was a good point, but I think they just got you with the record, the overall UCLA record. At the end of the season, it was a great moment, but it didn't ultimately mean anything. I think they got you on that, even though it was a great comeback, and the second greatest comeback. I thought that was a pretty good jab as well on that one. And then, so now, like I said, I think it comes down to Game 5 and the Rose Bowl, and it's pretty tough. But I think it goes down to I think Game 5 comes away with the win over here, AJ. I think that the Juice Baseballs was a little not that strong of an argument, even though it's kind of ridiculous. Makes me question the baseballs a little bit. But it is
Major League players
it is not really that. It doesn't carry that much weight to it, I feel. I do like the trophy argument, though, at the end of it. But I think you came most prepared with the Game 5 statistics of 64%. Really impressed with that. Didn't expect anything like that. I think, needless to say, though, they're all great moments regardless. I watched all of them. I remember I was working at my restaurant watching the UCLA game and thinking it was over just like you, and then turning around and then they won. I was very surprised. But I think, AJ, you came with the most preparedness and authority, and good job to AJ, but good job to all of you guys. Thanks for coming on.
It's
too late. It broke my heart.
So hopefully you guys had a good time. Hopefully this was fun. We'll do this again.
I had a good time.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's all we have for the first episode of Sport Topics, and hope to see you guys again later. See ya.
Yeah, you know how you're saying like the
Can we
60.
come back to this name?
You know how you're saying like the 60